Hello everybody, Turkey Cat here, bringing you another game. This one's actually a ZvZ. It does have a little bit more of a standard play to it, but I wanted to show this game just because it's hilarious. It's one of those ZvZs where, just one control mistake on one person's part can actually completely end the game. And it's just one of those, it's just amazing endings. It just makes you kind of sit back and laugh. Despite some very obvious mistakes in my game that I will point out here, some really horrible micro blunders on my part, I'm going to illustrate that, despite losing a ton of units in places where you really shouldn't, all it takes is one tiny mistake for you just to completely win the game. And one of the points I want to illustrate here is that more often than not, especially when you're playing an opponent of equal skill in the ZvZ, it actually tends to be the person who attacks or does the aggression first has a huge advantage. And not even if it doesn't even really matter drone count or anything like that. I mean, obviously that is an important thing, but what I want to illustrate with this game is that I'm going to make some huge mistakes in this game, but he's going to make more because he's going to feel this, like, oh my god, pressure when he realizes that he's being attacked, and he's going to see, you're going to see that he's going to lose some very, very important engagements here. So, it makes it so easy, because if you're attacking and you make a huge mistake, you have plenty of time. You're all the way on this side of the map, maybe aggressing on his base, and you have plenty of time to make units to defend before he's going to get there. Whereas if you're defending and you make a huge mistake, it actually can cost you the game. So there's this attacker's advantage as well as there's a defender's advantage, and in the ZvZ, the attacker's advantage, I think, is much more is much more strongly illustrated than it is in other matchups. So in this game, we both are going hatch first, blind hatch first, I should say, because neither of us are aware what the other opponent is or what our opponents are doing. But hatch first is actually pretty safe against any standard opening from a Zerg opponent, except for cheeses, which aren't standard openings. So there you go. But I'm about to find out that he did hatch first as well. I'm going to scout this just a little bit sooner than him. Actually, yep, this is where I pulled back, and he is scouting mine. Now, actually, in general in this game, I am only slightly ahead. I did reach each one of my market points. Basically, we mirrored each other exactly until shortly after the 10th supply, and then I was about one drone ahead, or about 50 minerals ahead, for the rest of this opening here. I did get my extractor that a whole lot earlier, which allowed us to actually even out on the units, but I didn't actually put my drones into the gas as soon as I should have, and so in that case we actually ended up getting gas at almost the exact same time. As his gas was quite a bit later than mine, but just due to my delay in saturating that geyser, I'm only about one trip ahead of him, which does not make a difference. Now, one of the things I choose to do a lot in ZvZ against when it's hatch first versus hatch first is a lot of times the Zerg player is going to see that, okay, I'm hatching first, my opponent's hatching first, so I'm going to make 4 lings and just sit back and make drones, and just drone. So I like to make 8 to kind of force them to feel the pressure really early. If they don't see it coming, it can actually, you can come in here, sometimes snipe a queen, engage the Zerglings separately, and if you can engage the Zerglings without the queen being involved, you just destroy them. You might lose 1 or 2, and then you can just easily target the queen, and then just back out. At that point, you've done so much damage. It's going to be a larva inject behind. He's going to be 150 minerals more behind. But what I chose in this game is I obviously have this Overlord here. I am aware of what exactly units, I didn't mean for that to be on camera, but I see exactly how many Zerglings he has. I knew I wasn't going to be able to do any damage. I saw the Spine Crawler a little early, so I know he's actually investing in defense, which is exactly why I pulled back when my Zerglings were about here. I sent them out in hopes to scare him a little bit, hopes to make him feel like, oh my god, pressure's coming, maybe I should make some more units. He actually correctly did not, because he already invested in Spine Crawler, already had equal numbers of Zerglings, so he very intelligently did not make more units. But at this point, I've got the Baneling Nest down, so does he, and he is moving out. So at this point, he's kind of doing a little bit of poking. He wants to see, what I've got, because he actually moved this Overlord back, so he doesn't have as much knowledge. Oh, he's got it over here. He doesn't have as much knowledge as I do. and he's, I guess, just sending this one ling as the speed finishes over here to watch my third. But I made a round of Zerglings for a little bit of early pressure, and this is exactly what I'm talking about. If I pause here and illustrate something, at this exact moment, I am actually behind in drones. If I go back about, I want to say 30 seconds, you're going to see that I'm actually ahead by about 2 at this point. So basically, if I had continued producing, drones right here, we would have been about equal. Because we're both equal right now, 26, 27, pretty even. I see these units coming. I feel like, okay, maybe he's going to do some bailing pressure. I know that my speed is is actually done. His is probably just about done too, considering, we both went 15 hatch, so I assume he probably got gas around the same time as me. Right then, yeah, speed does finish. He's just trying to get map control, but I made a whole round of Zerglings. So if I pause here, this is the same point I was at earlier. I'm going to show that at this point, the difference is about 9 workers, and I probably have about 18 more lings than he does. Maybe not quite that many, but the point there is to illustrate that, in one larva cycle, I chose to make lings where he chose to make drones, and this is going to put him on the defensive early and give me that attacker's advantage that I was discussing at the very beginning of this video. So I'm going to come in here, I'm going to try to do some damage. I'm not actually, I'm going to be producing drones behind this. I'm not actually trying to go for a kill here. I'm just making a few banelings because I know that if I put the pressure on him, he's going to feel scared, he's going to make units, it's going to allow me to get drones up behind this, and if I manage to land a good hit, then I'm going to be just way ahead. But you're going to see me make a huge mistake here. These banelings are almost done, and I just micro absolutely horribly, and end up, I think I wasn't paying attention to the time, and you can see me just lose all of these Zerglings. So at that moment, you have this feeling. I'm going to pause here real quick. At moments you have this feeling of just like, oh god, that's so horrible, because I could have done so much more damage. But I think my focus here was on these banelings. As I'm moving in and I had all these Zerglings focused on this spine crawler, he pulled all of his drones back. So I'm going to immediately, I control click my banelings, pull them up into the main. I know that his banelings are morphing, so if I actually get them into the main, he's going to have to chase me. And I'm going to go back and kind of show that. So that's exactly what happens here. He's only got these 6 lings, or 5 lings. So I'm making banelings, he sees it, he's going to make some banelings, and as I move in, I see his banelings morphing. I don't know if they just started or if they're almost done. Obviously, they were almost done, but my thought process at this exact moment right here when I see these banelings is, okay, he's got both of his queens right here, he's got a spine crawler right here, I have all these lings, and all I can see are these 5 banelings. I'm going to try to kill all of this stuff before this finishes, and if he loses both these queens, even if I lose all these Zerglings, it's really going to be a game ender at that point, because I'm going to be I'm going to be a full double inject ahead of him. Plus he's going to have to invest 300 more minerals into making 2 more queens, which even if he's ahead on drones, that's just going to delay him enough to really give me an advantage and allow maybe like a roach transition or muta transition or anything like that, maybe just more drones or a third base to go kind of uncontested. So at this moment, you're going to see me, if I go onto my camera, I wouldn't even slow down the game just to illustrate it. You're going to see me actually control click my banelings and try to get them in, and I see him pull all of his drones back. So I'm actually just controlling the banelings right here and moving them into his base, because right at this moment I know that even if he had rallied these banelings into his base to try to kill these banelings, I'm going to be ahead of him by about that much space, considering what the actual timings were. I don't know what they are, obviously, not being able to see the progress bars on top of the baneling cocoons as I'm there, but my slip up here is in controlling these banelings. I lost every single one of these lings, which I'm sure puts me behind on the resources lost, by about 200. But as my banelings come in, I know that, okay, he's gonna, he's got to do something right now to stop this from happening. And very sloppily, he's just, one group control clicking his drones. I could probably take out all of these drones, but I do manage to kill about 14 there. So that actually puts us right back on even terms, 26 and 27 again. I think I have 2 more banelings here. It's enough to kill all of these. The queen's almost going to get this one, so I think I just X detonated them there. Selected them and hit X, so they detonate. Try to get as much as I could. I did manage to kill 3 more drones. So right now my mentality is this: I know that even if he was ahead on drones before my attack started, that attack did so much damage that even if we're even, which we are, but I'm not sure of that, even if we're even, he's going to be in this situation where he's going to feel like, oh my god, that just did so much damage, it killed so many drones, and also delayed mining. He's got all these drones stuck up in his main, actually only about one base saturation, where I'm still happily mining in the back, and I have the full ability to drone or make his units as much as I possibly want to. What I choose to do here, obviously, is just to make units, because right now he has two choices. He can either counterattack with a full round of Zerglings and come and hit my base, or he can make more drones and play defensively. The most common decision is to make more drones, because you're going to feel like, oh my god, he just killed so many drones of mine, I'm so far behind, I need to catch back up, I need to get an advantage. So he's going to be producing drones. The correct decision to either one of those choices for you is to make more units. So I do transition here into Roach Warren with an evolution chamber, so I can go for a quick +1. My lair is on the way, and I'm getting my second gas, or actually my third as well. So I think I took my second down here, even though there's only 2 drones in there. I'm not thinking that's just a mistake on my part. Nope, there goes the third one. So basically, right now, this attack is just to keep him feeling like, it's obviously not supposed to be a game ender, because my game ender is going to be this Roach Warren Evolution Chamber. And I'm getting this tech right now while he feels like, oh my god, I need to catch back up, even though we were even. That's the thing, is the mentality of it. He's not aware that he is actually on even terms with me. And as you can see, he's got double the drones as me now, because he just spent all of that time between my last attack and this attack just making drones, trying desperately to catch back up, and he doesn't realize that I only have 23 drones. So I think it would have been a smarter decision for him to have made units and try to go for a counterattack, or at least even poke me a little bit, maybe make some drones and some units. But basically, this attack is going to keep me having that attacker's advantage right now. That's the only goal of this attack. So I'm going to speed it back up. I meant to speed it back up earlier, but I didn't, so apologize. But these units are going to go back in, and once again, I'm going to make a huge mistake here. I'm guessing that I'm not paying. Yeah, I wasn't paying attention, and he just happens to move in at just the right time. If I go back, I'm going to show you that attack, how it looked. But I made on my camera just a second ago, you saw that I made 3 or 4 banelings, and then looked back to do some injecting and whatever else, maybe start these upgrades. And he just sent these 2 banelings right here at this exact moment. So while I'm not paying attention, I actually lose all of these Zerglings. That was a huge blunder on my part. But besides the fact, we're even again on drones. I am probably, well, actually only slightly behind on the resources lost tab, but I don't see anything else here. You have those 2 banelings. I don't see any defense. I don't see any queens. I don't see anything but drones. And I just have these 8 Zerglings and these 4 banelings, just 4, right? That's all I have. As I move in, I am attacking with those. I actually control-click the banelings to do some damage. I'm doing the same thing as I did before. I'm moving them all in. And what does he do? The worst thing possible. He brings every single drone into this one location right here. He's got 2 queens to try to defend, but my Zerglings are basically going to be taking the brunt of the hits. He's not actually targeting these banelings, which, in the heat of the moment, it's a pretty difficult thing to do. But what's going to happen here is probably one of the most epic things I think I've ever done in the ZvZ. So I'm going to slow it down to normal speed to illustrate. So as I come in, my Zerglings are doing a little bit of damage. I actually am using these banelings, and right here is where I make probably one of the smartest, instantaneous decisions of any game. Is I see all these drones clumped up. That's a lot of fucking drones, right? And if I am moving in just this direction, he can easily just spin around this way and continue to kite. Obviously, my choice would be to start splitting the drones, use the queens, or hopefully hotkeyed. And yes, they are for him. They're on, they're on 5 for him. So he does have the queens hotkeyed, which is good, because you can start splitting your drones, and then 5A click, so you can have your queens coming over here to try to kill these banelings as much as possible, or as fast as possible. But right here in this exact moment, I have all 4 of these headed this direction, and I actually do a split. I grab just these 2 and send them this direction, knowing that he's going to try to do exactly that, and watch what happens. So these 2 go south, these 2 go north, and he ends up actually clicking on this extractor, and they all bunch up right on top of each other. This is probably the scariest thing you'll ever see as a Zerg player. 2 banelings on either side. You can't go either direction without losing every single one. And if he tries to bring them over here, he's going to basically choke them up right here in this spot, and they're basically going to form a line, which is going to allow me just to completely, out micro him. So at this moment, he's kind of in this like, holy shit, what do I do? And he makes the smallest mistake, but it ends up costing him almost every single one of these drones. Right here in this moment, I'm just move commanding all 4 drones to about this location right here, and when I see this happen, press X. 51 workers killed versus the 17 I had before. I just killed so many drones with 4 banelings. 4 banelings that I made down here in an attempt just to throw him off, just to keep him on the run, basically, to keep him from doing something to hit me back. I actually hadn't started my upgrades here, hadn't done that, but I did have my transition in mind. He did as well. So if I had not actually double evolution chamber, so if I hadn't been throwing down that pressure, he very well could have just straight up beat me 1-1 versus 1-0, and was ahead in drones because of the choice for me to make those Zerglings. So as you can see, even though I made some huge mistakes on the aggression and lost all of my lings twice on both of my attacks, all it took was one mistake from him to lose all of those drones in that instant. Even though I made more mistakes than him technically in this game or in my aggression, I actually kept the game from allowing him to feel secure and safe enough to do an attack to try to hit me with anything. I basically could have done anything at that point after my first attack. Could have taken my third, could have gone immediately for roaches. Didn't matter. The game was even, and he already felt shelled up. But because I chose to, make more units and go and hit him again, I had my tech transition in play and just kept him from being aggressive, kept him from feeling secure, kept him from mining from both of his bases for all of that time, and in the end, killed 51 drones. So hope that helps illustrate the point there. A lot of times that attacker's advantage can be more powerful than a defender's advantage in ZvZ, and going for that strong timing or going for any kind of attack there, especially when it's unexpected or unscouted by your opponent, can be one of the strongest decisions you can make in a game. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope you guys liked it. Feel free to leave me any comments and let me know what you think. Other than that, I will see you guys next time.